Hello, good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. Hope that you are all well and good and looking after yourself and staying safe. It is Sunday evening, which means that it could only be one thing. It is our regular weekly Sunday Divine Service. Welcome to you all, everybody that's watching. And hello to everyone who's watching on catch up. If you don't watch this live because of life getting in the way, or you've only just found us, hello and welcome. Really appreciate having you along. Hello to Nicola. Hello, Nicola Briggs, Kim Duggan, Paula Fryer, lovely Lorraine, and Mary Dixie. Oh, and Alison Moody just popped on. And everybody who's here who hasn't put a hello in the comments, but until if you put something in the comments, we won't know you're there. So do come and say hello. Say where in the world you're from. If you're from Dorset, if you're from anywhere else in the UK or around the world, it's always good for us to check and see where people are coming in from. Hello to Helen, hello to Linda Marie, and hello to Paula. It's so lovely to have you with us. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce your speaker for this evening, which is the really lovely Toni Goswell. Hi, Toni. How are you doing?
Hello, Ashley. Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Please do join us all.
Amazing. It's so lovely. I was just saying before we came on air, it's been such a long time since I've chaired for you, and I've just really miss being in Toni's wonderful energy, really warm, very spiritual energy. So thank you so much for coming and being our speaker for our Sunday service.
Yeah.
Super. Okay, everybody, there's loads of people coming online now. My goodness, it always blows me away every Sunday how everyone comes, and this is such a big part of their Sunday evening. I know it's a big part of my Sunday evening, that preparation for the week ahead, kind of resetting, reflecting on everything that's happened over the week, really getting yourself into a very positive spiritual space ready for the week. So hello to everybody. Hello to lovely Richie. Lovely to have you with us. And Teresa and June and Julie and Hazel. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Without further ado, friends, if you could grab your candles. We're going to light our candles together. So the reason why we do this is to create that sacred space. We're adapting and learning in this online format. And there's a certain point at the start of the service when it gets to 6:15 and everyone kind of shuffles around and then it goes quiet. And then the chairperson stands up and there's a certain energy in the room that is created when you're in a physical church. We can't do that, but what we can do is all light our candles at the same time. And as we do that, I just invite you to drop into that place that you go to when you want to think about your loved ones in the spirit world, connect with your guides and helpers. When you want to send healing to people, we retreat to that inner sanctum, that kind of temple within. So if I can invite you to go to that space now and take a couple of deep breaths. And as you do that, we're going to light our candles together. And as we just reflect upon the flame, that eternal flame, that eternal connection that we have to the spirit world, keeping the lights on for spirit, keeping the lights on for our spiritual community until we can be together again, friends, which I hope isn't too much longer. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, I'd now like to hand over. Now we've set the mood to our speaker, Toni, for your opening prayer this afternoon. Thank you.
Again, it's lovely to be here. And I ask you just to sit in the quiet for a moment before I start the prayer. Dear Father, Divine Spirit, as we gather here together this evening, whether it's far or near, with the technology that's bringing us together, we send out our love and our healing to all those concerned, to our family, our friends, and those that we know that need your support. We thank you for the new day that comes each day. We thank you for the challenges, whether good or bad, for without those we cannot learn. But as we go forward in our daily lives, we also send out our healing to the children of the world. May they grow up safe and secure with love and happiness and food each day. But we also remember our animal kingdom, and may we treat them as we would wish to be treated ourselves. And for Mother Earth, for the regrowth and the new times to come, may we all be able to regenerate together. And we particularly remember those keeping the church services going, keeping the church places open, and those that work under the emergency services, wherever they may be. We send out our thanks and our healing to them. But above all, as we go forward, we thank you for being there for us, facing each new day, facing each new challenge. And we thank our loved ones in spirit, our guides, our family and our carers for walking this daily life with us. We thank you for the love and the support and just the knowledge that you are there. But as we join together for this evening, we ask you to draw close, to stand with us and join in this service, and to guide it with love, truth and honesty. And we thank you again for the love and energy given this evening. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful. Thank you, Toni. And now, friends, we're going to invite you to say the Lord's Prayer together. And we say this because we're an independent Christian spiritualist church. And so we have this point in the service where we say the Lord's Prayer. So I'd invite you to say that with me now. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Now we're in this prayerful space. This is the point in the service that we dedicate to absent healing. And we had a lovely talk from Brian Walker on Friday evening about healing and absent healing and the power of that. And it was really lovely to hear his words on the subject. And so this is what we're going to do now. We're going to send healing out to those people that we know who may need some upliftment at this time, and also for people that we don't know. Please send the healing out and the spirit world will do the rest with it. So I invite you to go to that prayerful space, that quiet space within. And I'll say a healing prayer, which is by John O'Donoghue, a bit different this evening, a healing prayer by John O'Donoghue. And then we'll have some time to some music to send your own thoughts out. And I'll bring you back by saying Amen. Okay, friends. This is called a blessing. May the angels in their beauty bless you. May they turn towards you streams of blessing and healing. May the angels of awakening stir your heart to come alive to the eternal within you, to all the invitations from the Spirit that quietly surround you. May the angel of healing turn your wounds into sources of refreshment. May the angel of compassion open your eyes to the unseen suffering in the world around you. May the angel of wildness disturb the places where your life is domesticated and safe. And may you desire to be healed. May you keep hope alive in your heart. Amen. Amen. Thank you, friends. Okay, Toni, I'd like to hand over to you now for your reading that you've chosen for us this evening.
Well, it's a poem, and it's not too long, and it was written by a young lad called Jason Lehman, I think his name was, and he was 14 years old when he wrote it. And to have this insight just amazed me. And I'm not apologising, I have read it before, but I think it's relevant for the time. I need my glasses. It was spring, but it was summer I wanted. The warm days and the great outdoors. It was summer, but it was fall I wanted. The colourful leaves and the cool, dry air. It was autumn, but it was winter I wanted. The beautiful snow and the joy of the holiday season. I was a child, but it was adulthood I wanted. The freedom and the respect. I was 20, but it was 30 I wanted, to be mature and sophisticated. I was middle-aged, but it was 30 I wanted, the youth and the free spirit. I was retired, but it was middle age I wanted, the presence of mind without limitations. My life was over, and I never got what I wanted. So I thought that was a beautiful poem, that we're always looking for more than what we already got.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the floor is yours to discuss your reading. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it was something that I think particularly relevant. We've had this last 4 or 5 months to be able to sit back and take note on how we've lived our lives, I think, basically. You know, because we've just got carried away with all the materialistic things, running around, working, trying to keep family, trying to keep everything balanced. And sometimes we just couldn't. We just couldn't. And life is much more than that. We need to go forward and not be so materialistic. We need to be able to stop. I mean, so many people have said how nature has been so more brighter, but it's only because we've had time to take note of it, where before we would just rush by. The blackbirds and the birds in the gardens. The beautiful weather we had early on, not quite so good now, but you know, it was a healing process. It's a healing process, and it's a reminder to us. And one thing my son and I looked into was that if you look back, it's about every 100 years we get a pandemic or a plague, or right back in history. And I think in some ways it's a bit like, for me, I am a Christian, and it's a bit like God saying, hey, being a parent, hey, come on, pulling the reins back in. You know, you've got this lovely life. Yes, you have your challenges that don't go so easily, but that's our lessons to learn. But sometimes he just pulls the reins in and says, hey, come on, realize what you have got rather than looking for more all the time. Just going forward. And it's just a simple message. It's not easy to live through, but then that's what this life is, a school, isn't it? And then we go forward, and hopefully learn and be able to come through it a stronger person and a more loving person and a more appreciated. And I think it's a bit like the 7 sins, isn't it? And I think we got quite, up until the beginning of this year, I think we got quite gluttonous, is what I'm going to say. And when you look back, and I'm no exception, you get carried away with modern life, and you want this, you want that, and just to make things look nice or make you feel better. But when you buy all these materialistic things, how long does that feeling, because how long does that feeling last? Because you just want something else after that. You want something else. If you've got a good, reliable car, it might look a wreck, But if it's reliable, keep it. You don't need a bright, shiny thing as long as it gets you from A to B. I mean, that's just an example. And my daughter's going to shoot me because we've been talking about cars with her. So she'll think I'm getting at her, but I'm not. It's just an example. But it's the same with house. As long as you've got a roof over your head and it doesn't leak, then it doesn't matter whether it's bright, shiny windows or dusty, cloudy windows. And as long as you've got your family with you, um, that's another thing. You don't need to see eye to eye with people, but you can still and love and respect them from a distance. And I mean, I'm only saying these things through my own experience, um, but it's just making us appreciate what we actually got in our hands rather than putting that to one side and looking out for more. Um, there have been so many. The only way I can teach people or to show by example really is through my own experiences, and some of the experiences I've had through life have taken some of the closest people away from me. Sometimes we know they're going to go and sometimes they've just gone. But I know with this way of life, so fortunate that, and I've learned over the years that they're not that far away. You can just put a hand out symbolically, a thought out, and know that you can bring your loved ones close and they can support you and show you through this process that we're going through now. And I know spirit are not very far away from any of us. And I mean, that's my philosophy of life. But I also do believe in the Christian way of life. It gives you a good, supportive, moral way of life. And if you can be kind, sometimes you have to, stop people, but you can do it nicely. You don't have to be rude or horrible. But it's just to be together and support each other. You don't have to love someone, you don't have to like someone, but we can all live together. There's been, in the news in the last month or so, there's been all the racism things and that sort of thing. Does it matter? Does it matter? We are all the same underneath our wrappings, because that's all our body is. It's just a wrapping. We are all an energy and we all need love and we all need to spread it and support each other and go through this life together. There is just so much in some parts of the world, turmoil still going on, but because of the virus, we don't hear about it. We don't hear about it because the virus has taken over. But we still need to go forward and support each other. We need to be together to send that love out, because we are all sparks from the same energy. I'm not sure. Okay. Just I often think about it as we're all a chip from the old diamond. And then when you put it back together, we have that one diamond, and the energy that comes from that crystal is amazing, and it can heal and lift us all up. But I would just love to see the whole world as one. And and sometimes I just think, oh, maybe I will one day, perhaps not in my earthly lifetime, but it would be nice. It would be really nice to see that. And I say this virus, I think, is just here to give us a little bit of a pull our reins in and think, look, come on, you can do better than that. We can all do better. We can all do slightly better. So I think that's I did have here, there's some beautiful things from Bill Gates, beautiful messages, what the virus could teach us. And that was actually what inspired me today. But there's, I just put out love and healing and prayers to everyone that they could do with the support. Us included. We're all here together, and you know, there are some wonderful people, and including yourself, that are doing it and supporting people, and they're getting out there with the technology. It's just amazing. It's just amazing, and it's yeah, a real learning curve for me. The technology, I'm very frustrated with it. If you give it to me and it works, that's fine, but to set it up, no. So yeah, so I'll leave that with you and see if we've got any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Toni. Well, I'm very thankful of the technology,
Yeah.
which enabled this whole service to work, and like you say, to continue reaching out. Thank you so much for your lovely words. I was really interested in the analogy used of a house, and you know, we like to beautify things. And do you think the same is true of our spiritual life as well? I know it's all intertwined and there is no separation between our material and our spiritual, but do you think the same is true of our spiritual work as well? That sometimes we're kind of always striving?
Obviously. I mean, we're here, we're working for spirit, and I'll say some are jumping further than others. Because they some like the glory of it, and it's not really a life to be glorified, because you know, when you're honorable and you're working for spirit, sometimes you go through some really hard challenges to get there, you know, and when you've gone through those, you don't have what's the word they call these days is ego. You don't have that ego, because you know it. You've had the hard work to get where you are, and you know it doesn't stop. Those that are in the public eye, that like all the glory of it, or the attention, maybe or maybe not. I don't know what their lives have gone through to get that. There's been some fantastic people on the technology, spreading the word and everything. And they've not got an ego. They are well-known names, but they've not got an ego, but they've had the challenges that life gives you. So yes.
Yeah, really good, really good point. And it's all about energy, isn't it? It's all about energy. And one thing that I've kind of reflected on has been about my own ability to reconcile my own energy by using my spiritual practice and talking to spirit, and prayer and gratitude and lots of other spiritual practices kind of keep me on a bit of an equilibrium. It keeps me energetically that I can tell when I'm out of alignment. When I haven't been doing my spiritual practice, I can tell that because I get baity, and you know, all the redhead comes out, and then you have to kind of check yourself and say, I'm really out of alignment here, and I need to do some spiritual work in order to reconnect with that energy. And it's really interesting you say about you know, people who are maybe doing things for different reasons because they might not have worked that out yet.
Yeah.
Might not have worked it
Oh
out.
yeah, I mean my own experience, the first half of the lockdown, obviously the first few weeks was lovely. It was a bit like a holiday, but then I had toothache, and I was a grump, and then had various prescriptions of antibiotics and things like that. But I was really awful. But then I realized, actually, I'm the one that is feeding it. You know, I went back to spirit and said, you know, I've had enough of this. Please help. I need to do something, and I realized then that I needed to work. And then since then, I've had invitations. So it's lovely to work again. And and I'm looking on the brighter side. So it goes for all of us. Such silly little things, but it's synchronicity, isn't it?
And we're only human. We're spirit having a human experience, and you know, it's part of our journey to experience all it is to be human, isn't it? Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, really, really good point. So many people agreeing with you. I must just do a couple of shout outs. Hello to Nicola Briggs from Littleport, Spiritualist Church. Hello, Littleport crew. Really lovely to have you with us. And also to Phil Shaw and all of the Wimbledon massive are all here as well. Really lovely. Fantastic service this morning. 11 o'clock. That was lovely. Thank you. And Toni, you've been a busy lady because you were chairing over at Poole with Lawrence.
I was,
this afternoon.
Another one of those invitations that came because, you know, I knew things were changing, and last weekend I think I had 3 invites, but it's just shifted things for me and got me working again. Yes, I was chairing today for Laurie, so hello Laurie if you're there, but if you're not, so yes,
It was really lovely. It was really lovely to see you guys kind of teaming up. That was really lovely. Thank you. Hazel's got a really interesting point. That she said, thank you, Hazel, for this really lovely comment. It's taken a lockdown to make me realise what I actually want to do and what my life path is, enabled me to open up more to the universal energy. Wow. So you really have been using your time very productively, Hazel. Given the opportunity.
That's a positive, because I think that's the way we need to go. You know, like I was saying earlier, put the materialistic to one side. I'm not saying we don't need it, we do. Because we are leading a human life, but at the same time we need to be able to lift our energies so that we can go forward and lift this earth.
Absolutely. And it's amazing, we found out what we could do without during the first part of lockdown. We found out what we could do without. Certainly that was something that was really hit me very hard, what actually you can survive without, and who you contact was really important. Who you contact and who you felt compelled that you needed to reach out to as well. That was a really good leveler, wasn't it? A really good leveler.
Yeah. And you knew who family and friends were, and
absolutely. And what you wanted to do with your time. Yeah, absolutely. Lorraine, oh bless you, Lorraine. Okay. Definitely healing going your way, Lorraine. You're doing such amazing work, trying to keep things on an even keel, Lorraine. It is, I think, probably adapting. I don't know about you, but it's almost like a diver resurfacing after being in a really quiet, tranquil place, and all of a sudden we're having to come back up to the surface where things are really noisy and busy. And I think when you're a really sensitive person, you're probably feeling that the energy and how fast life has got all of a sudden. Again, it's got really fast. You can feel it speeding up.
It's more disorientating, isn't it? I suppose, because when we're shut down, initially it's great, and then you get into a lull, and then suddenly you're thrown back, and it's so disorientating because you're expecting the world to be the same, and it's not quite the same. We won't be quite the same. There will be differences. There are things we have to adapt to, and that affects us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Hazel was just agreeing with you, saying it's amazing when you listen to the universe and open ourselves up, actually what does happen. Nicola's made a lovely comment that spiritualism has changed your life forever. Oh, you can't be recent to this, Nicola, but it'd be very interesting to hear a bit more about that experience. And June's with us on this one. Everything's speeding up it's a real struggle for people, and it's been very interesting talking to people who work in kind of mental health and listening and talking therapies, and actually it's going to be the readjustment, because we went into lockdown so fast and everything went quiet really quickly, and actually coming back out, because it's a staged thing, it's actually quite difficult for people, isn't it?
And it's also been interesting to know how other countries have coped with it. There are some countries that are still locked down, although the numbers are not as high as ours. They're still being kept quite strictly locked down. And they're going through, I'll say, similar anxieties, challenges, but in a slightly different way, because they've not got the release yet. So obviously all their energies, and there's certain people I know that are Christian, and they're starting to suffer with the anxiety of it. and they need to perhaps. I mean, one young lady I speak to, and we've been sending healing because she's getting quite anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just seeing the other side of it.
Yeah. So as someone who kind of is doing this healing work for spirit, how important is your spiritual practice to you, and what kind of things do you do, if you don't mind sharing with us? What kind of things are important in your spiritual practice to stay connected, and kind of get you through the tough times?
I'm not one. I admit I'm not one that needs to sit and meditate for long periods. I will say I um, I often I'll say I go for a jog and um, around the country park, and then you see the animals, and it's surprising that when they know about the energies, how close they come to you.
Mm.
You know, the squirrels, and we've seen the squirrels and the robins and the birds. I mean, one bird I was running, and it literally flew between us. It was that close. Um, yeah, but yeah, I sit and do short meditations, and there's times when obviously I'm not happy with the way things are going on, as you, and I sit and say, look, just take it. I give it up. It's having that trust to know that the energy and the spirit will look after you.
Yeah.
There's been times in my life, and I've just sat back and I said, you can't deal with it always.
Mm.
So as long as you ask, spirit are there. But yeah, quite often I do have a few, I just go off for a short 2 or 3 minutes and sit quietly and just open up. Yeah. It's
Amazing.
almost like you're being hugged from mum, is what I want to say. When you're a child and you can't cope with life and you get upset, who do you run to? You run to mum.
Mm.
You have that hug, and that hug could be 30 seconds,
Yeah,
but that it makes the world right again.
absolutely.
And yeah, it's just, I mean, I walked into a church when I was 19 years old, and I've never walked out again. That's what I say. So yeah, it's
That's a really lovely way to put it. And actually,
yeah.
you're right, aren't you? You need to draw on these practices. I think there's a Buddhist kind of quote, isn't there, that said, if you're busy, if you're feeling stressed, then meditate for half an hour, and if you're too busy to meditate for half an hour, meditate for 3 hours, or something like that. Which kind of,
Yeah, that's it.
you've got to make that appointment and get yourself there to do it, and because otherwise, it's just not going to get any better, is it? Thank you. Yeah, lots of people agree with you. Hazel said that she likes being out in nature. Yeah, there's so much research about this, which is kind of coming to light now and coming to the fore. There's a really interesting documentary I found, which is called Earthing or Grounding. It's on YouTube. It's really interesting. But it's talking about the healing properties of being out in nature and actually looking at it from a scientific perspective, and actually looking at the evolution of the human body. And we were never designed to wear shoes and be cooped up inside buildings. We were meant to be outside and in touch with nature. Amazing.
I do like
Yeah.
my heels.
You always wear beautiful shoes. Always wear beautiful shoes, Toni. I've done my hair especially for you because you always just look so super glow. Jamie's got a really interesting question. Hello, Jamie. Really lovely to have you with us. He's asking a really mediumistic question. So, has the lockdown and energy change affected the way you work on the platform? What are you noticing?
Oh yes.
Question, Jamie.
Yeah. Well, actually, in some ways, yes. I become in myself. I will say I become more reliant on the energies around me from day to day, and I'm more aware the little signs that have been around, whether it's the little light or the shadow that you see, or just the feeling, or just like being in nature. But I have actually done a physical church service since the what is it the when they started opening the churches, um, and I am so lucky that I know when spirit are there. I know when the family member's there, and I usually, not always, usually know when you're going to. And I did find that actually when I was delivering the message on from the platform, that was very, very similar. Although I think we are always evolving. We never stay the same. And when, it's not until we look back a year or two and then realize that how much more, I'll say, confident you've got, or how much more you're able to interpret the message you're getting. So yeah, on the whole, but I think my general life, the way I'm looking at it, and I have more of a goal, because I must admit, I come to a point where you had to, I reach one goal and you need to head for another one. So you get more goals to head for. So you never stop learning. So you just just keep going.
Absolutely. And there's never been a better time, because there's so much spiritual content out there, and courses and workshops and seminars you can do online. And I think there's a real thirst for knowledge. It really feels like when we've all been turning inwards, that people are starting to really ask questions about life, the universe, God, spirit, everything. And spiritualism has been flying the flag. We've been doing a good job, I think.
And it's there. It's there for you. Like you said, with the technology, doing it all online, people can do that. And that will give them, hopefully, the confidence that when we can get out there and do it properly, one-to-ones, or do groups, do our, groups, do the courses in groups, in person, it give people, more confidence to be able to join those groups and to meet people like-minded.
Absolutely. Thank you, Toni. Hopefully that answers your question for you, Jamie. That was a really good question. Thank you. Hope you're well. It was lovely to have you with us the other week. Thank you. Paul has asked a really interesting question, which is, to paraphrase, how do you think spirit feel about the way people are acting? So going to beauty spots and kind of not respecting the environment. And it's been really interesting. I think interesting, wasn't it, that we had this whole big move just before lockdown around reducing plastic and, Blue Planet, and people being really conscious about recycling. And then all of a sudden it just kind of didn't happen. What are your thoughts on that? Have Spirit talked to you about that?
I actually feel that spirit are not surprised, because with this lockdown, I think you come out of it one way or the other, either a better person or a person that's struggling. And I think this is the difference. I say they're not surprised, because they are aware of how we are going to go forward. And they're there to obviously support us, and those that come out with better energies and a better look at life are able to evolve quicker. Those that I'll say are struggling and perhaps not doing the nice things or the good things, they have more to learn, but spirit is still there for them. It doesn't matter which side of the sword you are, spirit are there for you. But at the same time, in my own belief, we do choose to do a lot of the experiences that we have in this life. It's that, I don't know if there's a story about when a spirit is coming to earth as a baby, and he's saying, who will be my mother, who will be my father, but who will be the person that hurts me or does wrong to me, and they're the people that love you the most. So we are all here for a reason, whether it's your lesson or the next person's lesson, but we are all here for that reason, to learn and to be able to go forward. And some go forward much quicker than others.
Well put, thank you. And that is a really lovely story. I'll try and find the link for it, and I'll see if I can put it in. It is a really, really lovely story. Thank you, Toni. We are going to now invite Toni. Thank you for all your questions, everybody. It's always nice when we have these little impromptu Q&As. Thank you, Paula. I'm glad that answer was suitable. I'm going to ask Toni to close our service with a lovely closing prayer. Just a notice, our medium next week is the wonderful Angie Freeland. So looking forward to having Angie back with us again. And now that she's back, every time we've spoken to Angie previously, she's been in lockdown away in Tenerife, but she's back. She's back in the UK. So we look forward to have her next week. Okay. Are you good? You got a spirit coming in?
I just, yeah.
Got spirit coming. Thank you. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Now, please join me in prayer. Dear Father, Divine Spirit, please watch over all those present here this evening to support them as they go through their daily life, to help them make the right choice, and to know that they are loved. And I leave each one in your protection. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Toni. And thank you, everybody who's been with us this evening. It very much is appreciated. My goodness me, it's appreciated for everyone that drops in to say hello, who shares this page on, who shares it with friends who aren't aware of just the real healing that comes from this understanding of life eternal and that our loved ones are around us, and all the other principles that sit as the kind of the pillars of our understanding. So if you're new here, welcome, and we're really glad you found us. If you're here every week, thank you so much to the bottom of our heart that you continue to support all of the spiritualist churches and things going on around the UK. We will see you next Sunday, 6:15. Thank you so much, Toni. It's been an absolute joy to have you.
God bless everyone. Thank you.
Night, night. See you later, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Bye.